Hello there. I'm Cassius, and this is our February the 26th of 2021 SOS meditation. Today we are doing just a little bit here and there, just helping ourselves out, stretching our legs to the end of winter, into the beginning of the wonderful spring, the spring of April the 1st, where I live. It's very strange that it's April the 1st. Strange, but in a good way. When we think about things like meditation, we often think about laying back and relaxing, taking it easy and enjoying ourselves in a quiet space. That's a pretty good way of looking at it. This time that we spend next to each other, this quiet and warm and safe time, it's a pretty nice thing to spend this quality of life moment with yourself and with me. But to begin with, as always, make sure you have yourself sitting or laying down or relaxing in a quiet, comfy position, someplace where you can easily find yourself quiet and safe. Hello there. If you'd like to join us, come on to the radio stream and you'll hear it all going down. Thanks. The SOS, the Survivors of Suicide, have been active for over 10 years. We've fought through our battles together, and we've made strides together and strived to improve ourselves and our community. It started with just one person wanting to change Second Life in the world for the better. They achieved a state of oneness in their life, and they made their efforts go not to waste, but to strength. They worked together with the people around them who cared about them and each other, and they made a difference. And it's time now, together in this place, for us to make a difference for each other. And so, I ask you to join me in your seated and comfy position so we can talk a little bit about meditation. Now, let your first thought, the thought that lets all of this come together, let it be on your meditation. Let it be on your breathing. The soft in and the slow out. But don't try to change your breath too much. Don't focus on making it fast or slow, making it calm or steady. Just breathe. Breathe all calm and all cool. Breathe the best breath that you can. Oneness is a state in which the people who are affected by it feel a unity and an effort from inside to change and improve the world around them. Oneness is achieved by spending that important time with yourself and with the people around you. And oneness comes from an inner peace achieved by understanding the world around you and your place in it. I feel as though just recently I've started to understand my place in it. After 15 weeks of doing this, 15 weeks of providing these little sessions for everybody. And the spreading of this love, of this joy, and this softness to others. It's what I do with my time. It's why I do what I do. It's a wonderful thing for me. And every time I do it, I deepen my relationship with myself and with this community. So, to begin with, once again, focus just a little bit on taking in that breath. Sitting as calm, as cool as you can. And then do something for me. Let your imagination open up just a little bit. And imagine you are sitting quietly, soothingly, and sedately atop a mountain made of whatever kind of rock you'd like, that stretches far into the sky, past the clouds. Imagine that you're sitting on that mountain just like you're sitting here now, in whatever position that you're in. And from you, this beacon emerges. A beacon like a lighthouse in the midst of this ocean of clouds. And it shines, shining up the fireflies, the stars above you, the galaxy awaiting. And when you're in this position, you look around and you feel how connected you are to this planet. You feel the vibrations, the tremors of the earth beneath you. Magnified by your proximity to its peak. Do you think that you made it up that mountain to the top, at the peak, the pinnacle of the world? Do you think you made it there in just a day? I don't think so. I am guessing that you made it there over a long, long period of time. I'm guessing that it took you years, for some even decades. Just thinking about that place that you've gotten to. You've gotten there by yourself, but you've had help. Recognize that help. Recognize how much help that you've achieved, how much comfort and how much pain, how much joy and happiness you've gone through. And you know that you've gotten there. You've gotten to the top. You've made it. All those trials and tribulations, they're behind you now. Because of the top of the world, where the atmosphere meets the planet. Above the cloud layer, the storms beneath you. The oxygen is so fresh, so crisp. And the small bugs in the air glowing by their tails. You made it this far. You made it here. You made it here with me and with our friends that are with us. Thank you so much for giving yourself that comfort, for caring enough to try and keep going. When we reach a place like this in our lives, where we don't have to try as hard anymore, where we can say, I've done a good job, where we can say, I'm proud of myself, everything shines and gleams in a new way, and the world seems to be a little bit taller than it was before, a little bit sharper. Especially here at the pinnacle. We look out. We see the small breaks in the clouds, the nations and cities, the people like ants. But all of them have worked hard too. Yet here you are, getting to your potential, your max. You strived. You worked. And it's time for you to show yourself that love and appreciation. That same smoothness that got you this far in the first place. That brought you here. Now tell me, what kind of stone is that mountain made of? For me, it's a strong, almost obsidian, dark jet rock with streaks of red, veins of minerals, deposits of gems and crystals, but minimal. Upward in the storm. And it shines just like you do, that brilliant light. But when you look out into the clouds and into the galaxy beyond, the planets aligning just for you, the gleaming sun far, far away. How much do you look back on and feel those moments, good and bad? Feel where you used to be, where things were before. Even those memories, the events of the past, tragic and joyful, good and bad. They exemplify a life well lived, even a humble one. Because there's no such thing as a life that isn't worth living. And the fact that you've made it this far just proves that you've made the right choice. So why don't you give yourself, maybe not literally, but maybe figuratively, a pat on the back, a mental hug, a soothing of your spirit. Because many of our brothers and sisters, our friends and families, haven't made it this far with us. Whether by luck, or illness, or other harrowing situations. And we need to live our lives to show respect to the fact that they can't live theirs. And so we do. We live our lives in whatever comforts we can among friends and things. But I want you to look back on those good times. The times that got you through, the times that are behind you and are still ahead. For me, it was times like being at the anxiety meetings or saying hi to my friends, giving hugs, watching people be emotional, helping people work through their problems. Being helpful, I guess you could say. In this world, it can seem a little crazy to try and be helpful. But somehow some of us still manage to do it. That's always been a golden rule of mine, is to be as helpful as possible. I hope that you'll see these times that we spend together, these golden moments, meant just for us, as helpful. Everybody who works for themselves, other people, who works for their families and friends, the passion they have, the drive, the sheer will of it, they take that with them. But it could be ours too. It could be such a small, important thing. It might not even seem like it's real. Sometimes that passion leaves us and we feel so empty because of it. But I'll tell you this. It's always with us. It's here with me and here with you. And when it does appear, when it does show its face, you can bet that you can feel it just as strong as you feel anything else. And that's something just for you. Just to be felt by you. And so when you feel those things, when you get to that precipice of emotion, let yourself be okay with coming down and be okay with faltering for a moment to show that vulnerability. Because everybody is vulnerable sometimes. And there's nothing weak or powerless or shameful about being vulnerable. When you come to SOS, you come looking for something. You come looking for love, respect, understanding, for healing. And so when you come to SOS, come with your mind open, ready to seize the day, ready to pull back and take a look at things for how they really are within yourself. And look at how strong you are and how much stronger you could be, how strong you've been. You've made it so far. So far by your own 2 feet. And how much further could you go if you really wanted to? That's what we're here to learn. At SOS, we're here to grow and to show how far we've come. And so joining me here today in this place is just another brick on your path. Another stone, another rock in your road to success. And your breathing is the controls, the steering wheel. Breathing is so important that you can even forget you're doing it. But it always keeps happening while you're awake, while you're asleep, while you're laughing, while you're crying. But take heed to know that breathing can control everything else in your life. And make the best of it, because you are the one who's breathing. You're the one in control. And if you can take control of that small thing, it makes a big change in your life. If you're new here, or if you're not new here and you've been here many times before, make sure that you set some time aside on Fridays at 12 p.m. SLT, just like today, to come around, to take time off, to do something for yourself. Because that's what you really need, no matter who you are or how you feel. Time for yourself is, even if a small amount, the kind of food for your soul that can never truly go to waste. So in this time and place, take in another breath and exhale it out. At SOS, when I first joined, it was in October 2 years ago, just after a stint in the hospital for 5 days. I remember very clearly that I didn't know exactly what would happen to me. I felt so alone and so shaky. Everything felt so far away and so distant, and yet my problems felt so close and so near. I needed a rock, something I could rely on, a schedule that I could keep. And then, randomly, seemingly serendipitously, I was logging into Second Life, and the Firestorm suggested advertisement of the day was talking about how SOS, the survivors of suicide, were having their 10th anniversary suicide prevention month. At first, I didn't even know what to think of it. I mean, I thought, well, how could a group like that help me? How could I belong in a group like that? But a part of me, the part deep down that knew better, it said, this could be my chance. And so I took that chance. I took the chance and I gave myself the potential to improve. And when I first came here, when I first met the people, I thought it was too good to be true. And it can feel that way sometimes, that things can't possibly be that good. But something I learned from a sticky situation I got into when I was younger. This was more than 2 years ago, actually. A foolish man gave some wise advice. before you can be anything else, you have to learn how to be yourself. And that's something that we strive to do every day, and we learn a little bit more about what we're made of, the stern stuff that we're from. But we have to keep learning more and more. We have to keep pushing further and further beyond to get it, to understand it, to persevere and to move past. Because that's what it's really about. That's what we're here for. To give ourselves the best chance of moving forward. And isn't that what we deserve, all of us? Isn't that what we're here for? And so being here with me in the present or in the future when you're listening to this on YouTube, you've made that right choice to come here and to relax and respond to your calls of nature and of mind. And I'd like to congratulate you for coming so far, for heeding and listening to what your body needs. And so while you're breathing, while you're taking that time, think of those moments in the past where you were challenged. Think about how far you've come from those moments and think about what about them tested you. Maybe it was an argument, or a physical confrontation, or maybe it was a hurdle, a plateau in your mind. It might have been a deadline, or maybe even a confrontation. And even if you failed that moment, even if it's a bad memory, be with that memory, that pain, or that success, that failure, or that joy. Because no matter what it is, no matter who you are, that makes you human to fail. Our failures are the stones, the stepping blocks that we use to rise up to our successes. And I learned that lesson. Took me a long time to learn. And my only hope is that from these videos and from these sessions that I can impart some wisdom and heal and push forward people through their problems in a way that nobody did for me when I was in need. Because that love, that inner light that you carry, that strength for those poor days, that's the kind of energy that saw me through my darkest hours. And if you're here right now, you may need some of that energy in your life. So tell me. Tell me even if I can't hear it. Tell me to yourself, what is it in life that you need? What is that thing that you're craving or after? What is your objective? And if you reach that objective, what would that mean for your life? I'll tell you my objective. My objective is to live comfortably, to help those in my family and surrounding me, to make people happy, to inspire people, and to help people heal. I'm not selfless or a saint by any means, but I value saintly things, and I strive to be a paragon of those values. I'm an idealist, and somebody who loves to see wholesomeness and flourishing, pride and strength, contentment and peace. I believe in benevolence, graciousness, grace. And I believe that the world, deep down, is full of people who want to help each other but just don't know how. But any of us could become that person that helps change the world. I think my long-term goal is to do that myself, to change the world, even if it's only a few people at a time. And when I think about what comes next in my life, I think about the hard work, the satisfaction, the chemistry, the dynamics. I look forward to it. And I relish in that attention to details and to people. Just like I relish even this moment now. If you'll join me in that relish, in that enjoyment, I think you'll find something unique and calming about the experience. But let me ask you something else. Oftentimes when people join SOS, or Second Life in general, in that case, in some cases, and there's usually a moment or a trigger or a straw that breaks the camel's back. And people start looking, maybe out of desperation, maybe out of concern or worry. They look for a way to help and heal themselves. Think about that changing moment in your life that guided you here. For me, it was getting out of the behavioral ward, learning how fragile and vulnerable I really am, learning to connect and be with myself and real, learning to open, to let go, and to give in sometimes, to give in to my emotions, let them come and go. The world will always be here, regardless of if we are or not. But the world can be changed. It can be changed by even one person, even the most desperate, the most crippled, the most pained person can make the right choice and do the right thing. Even if they feel like there's no way, no chance, no hope. Part of life is seeing the hope where there is none. Even if you're a madman or crazy or wild or feral. There's a hope. even if it's small and fragile, if you nurture that ember, eventually it can become a flame. So ask yourself this: what flames do you carry? What hope do you have for the future? Where do you wish to be? Where do you want to be? And where will you be by this time next year? I don't personally believe in New Year's resolutions, if I'm being honest with you, but I think that the new year can bring about a new life. I'm sure we've all heard that saying about a new year and a new body. Or is it 10 years? I don't really know, but I believe it either way. Even if our bodies change, even if we are hurt or in pain, our spirit remains strong through no matter what. And through those perils, we learn about who we are, what we're made of, and why we're here. It's times like those that test us. They test our strength, but they bring us back to reality. And being human can sometimes feel like a curse. But I'll tell you this: I feel privileged to even be alive. And I hope that you feel the privilege of your life as well, because every life is worth something. And in those stars that we see in the sky around us, on that mountain betwixt the foamy fields, all the stars in the sky, they count. It's a record of the people who came before us, the creatures and beings that live, that have passed, moved on, and those who are still with us. In the Milky Way above us, it's a gorgeous reminder, a thought, a wish, a prayer for a heaven and a peace and a paradise for those who we love that aren't with us anymore. It's natural to want that. It's natural to want the people who have already gone to be happy and safe in peace. And we want that for ourselves one day. Those things we crave, the passions and the kindnesses and the calmnesses, those are things that we work for and gain. And it's natural to covet them. It's natural to want them. But up here in the mountains, there's not much more to want than to be who we are. And so with me, let's take a moment of peace and quiet to honor the stars and the people they represent. A moment to look back and to relish the good times with those people who aren't with us, and to hope and pray for their happiness wherever they are now. Thank you. You've made it this far with me already. Far into your meditation and into your understanding of yourself. How much further are you willing to go? Hopefully you're willing to come to a meeting to talk to our lovely people here, to learn a little bit more about yourself, and to come back and spend this hour that's for you and for all of us. So that you can shine just like those stars. Shine on your peak, on your mountain. In that blessed place, that sacred place, that's just for you. For you and all of your accomplishments and all of your failures. I'd like to thank everybody who's with me live, who's enjoying the lovely ASMR. I'd like to thank my friends at SOS for supporting me. And I'd like to thank everybody who has helped me throughout my journey. I especially want to thank Dark Griffith for pushing me to do this. Wherever you are, I love you. That's all the time we have today. Thank all of you so much for spending it with me and for giving yourself this time